Testing 1, 2. Okay. Right. There's audio now. So I don't know how long I've been going with that audio because I think Nicole dropped in to say hi. But then didn't stick around, and I don't think anyone was here yet. So now there's audio. So if anyone's watching this after the fact, although I don't think anyone's watching my stuff after the fact, it'll be pretty boring, I think. So I was just saying that friends of mine have been getting into this game called Marvel Crisis Protocol, which is like a miniatures game set in the Marvel universe. And so I've just been painting this Captain America. Just did this the other day. And just as a joke, I painted America's ass. So I gave him an unnecessary American flag on his ass. So that's a funny little thing I've been working on. This is kind of cool having this where I can actually set the focus as I'm doing things. Oh, hello. What are you doing here, chicken? I feel like Chicken Cam in winter is a little unnecessary because she is totally not interested in sitting on that chair in winter. She's just like complaining at me to have somewhere to sit on me most of the time. So yes, I'm here now and with audio. So hopefully that makes things better. Hello Dean, hello Tawaka, how are we going? I have just got the shrink wrap off this um music box kit. As you can see, I've got a much wider angle camera this time because this is actually a pretty big kit. So we see how we go. And I've got Droid Cam for iOS HD trial there. Oh wait, maybe Chicken is going to sit in the chair. Oh, isn't that nice? Perfect. Chicken Cam is going to get users. Oh, you're tired. One of your courses is back to the in-person exams and you're dying. Oh no. Well, I guess they were always like some courses were always going to do that. If they had the choice, they were going to go back to it because it's one way that you can kind of guarantee that it's one person's work. Because it's like one of the things that oh wait, she's gone already. She went to the chair, decided she didn't like it, and then she just moved on. Where are you going, Chicky? Oh, you coming up here? I think you're just going to try to sit on my lap. Come on. She does this sometimes. I don't know if any of the cameras can show it. Maybe this one. Yeah. Showing her. That's her. And up here, yeah, put a heat mat on the chair. She would actually like it there. So she's basically next to me, looking at my lap here. Oh no, she got distracted. My partner must have made a sound outside. Oh well, off she goes. Well, you'll see her first if she comes back in the room because that's where she'll turn up. But a lot of the time she just sits and looks at my leg for like 5 minutes before she decides she can actually jump up, and then she does. Oh, Twok, you worried about that one course. Which course is it? Do you want to say? You don't have to say if you don't want to. But yeah, it can be tough, I think, when everything's sort of changing, everything's always in flux and stuff. And I think through the pandemic, so for some of you, your entire degrees, everything's been in flux like the whole time. Okay, so taking the nice little cover off the music box, it says recommended age 14 plus. So hopefully that means I'll be able to do it. Assembled size 180 by 83 by 189 millimeters. So it's going to be like as big as what you can see on the camera here when it's done. I also have no idea whether I can finish this in one sitting, but that's not that big a deal. 1251 Math 1B for actuarial. Oh, that seems full on. I was talking to Dan Mansfield and Thomas Britz the other day. I'm not sure if either of them are involved in the course, but they were talking about because I was sitting down with the two of them and Richard Buckland having lunch and just talking about teaching people and things like that, and they were wondering about uh, trying to live in an examless world, if it's possible, and what we would do and things like that. Um, and for a lot of the maths courses, it was like there were some really, really specific skills that you just want to test whether someone's capable of doing those skills or not. So I wonder if that's one of those courses that they wanted um call it, control over the exam process like that. I know even a lot of computing courses, it was always seen as this thing where like you can have a student that cheats all the way through the course and then you just catch them in the exam. So you don't have to put like a stupid amount of effort into chasing cheating people, which is like a super annoying thing to do. Like if people are already cheating, you don't want to have to spend your time on them. You want to spend your time on the students that actually care about what they're learning. But yeah, and I think that's one of the things that people like exams for, is that you don't really need super good plagiarism detection if you just put a plagiarism proof barrier at the end. It's not proof, but it's decent. I never knew what to do with it, really. I always just kind of wanted to live with trust of my students, but I know that that's not feasible when you've got like 1,000 people and like there's a lot on the line. There's like people are trying to succeed at all odds and stuff, so everything's stacked against them. They may end up cheating even if they're not someone that really wanted to. There's some bits and pieces here. There's actually not much MDF. It's just these few sheets, so it's actually smaller than I expected. And it has a music box. I kind of want to turn this on. Where's the winder on it? Is that the winder? Let me grinding more than you usually do. Yeah, that's tough. Got a little key here. Let's see what this sounds like. I assume that I'm putting this in the right place. Yeah, so it's a fully closed book exam, is it? That's might have been a while since the last time you did one of those. Can you hear that? I don't know if that's actually being blocked by the noise suppression. It is. That's quite funny. It's only picking up when I speak, but not the music box. 1 second. Where did I have the noise suppression on? Filters? Yes. Okay, turning off noise suppression temporarily so that I can play this. I'll turn it back on afterwards because it usually causes a lot of background noise. There's always something kind of whimsical about these little music boxes. Yeah, you could sleep to it, right? Yeah, totally. Alright, I put my noise suppression back on. Because otherwise, you just listen to... Okay, back to just voice now. Otherwise, yeah, you end up just listening to my computer fans and things like that. This looks like PVA glue to me. Same stuff that I use on my other Crafty projects. This is just the box that keeps it all from bouncing off each other when it's in shipping. And we have our instructions here. Dear customers, ensure the safety of your kids. Please read the instructions with your kids carefully before assembling. Okay, I don't have any kids to read them with, so I will just be reading the instructions. Warm tips. Loose parts can be assembled with glue during installation. I wonder what warm tips means. Is that a translation? Is that a translation from hot tip, but like not as important? It's just a warm tip? I was like, warm tips? Am I gonna have to like get the hot glue gun out or something? Like, is this like something that actually has to be warmed? But no, I think it's just uh reasonably reasonably urgent, but not genuinely urgent tips. I don't know if anyone else has noticed as well. I'm wearing like a jacket and a hoodie right now. If you're in Sydney, I assume that you know exactly what's going on right now. Is that we have flicked the switch between autumn and winter, and now we're in like full winter from the other day when we were like partial summer, autumn, and everything was still relaxed. It's kind of funny, and then the flu hit, and everyone's getting sick at the same time. It's like, yeah, it's pretty funny. Okay, so instructions here. No, paste the indentation accurately. Okay. Long shirt, sweatshirt, jumper, and jacket. Yeah. Tempted multiplications, put another jacket on your jacket. Yeah. I know that. I know that feeling. Okay, okay. Let me put this stuff up there where I can read it. Just gonna prop it up in my paints up here because actually you can still see that the way I've got the camera set up now. I think this camera is better than before. It's a much wider angle, so you can actually see my whole workspace here. And let's get the shrink wrap off the MDF here. And then we'll be able to pull out bits and pieces and start building them. This is actually very cute the way this has been pre-printed. Makes this kind of kit a lot easier than it could be. I'm much more used to everything that I have being kind of unpainted, and then I have to paint it. Like I've got like bits in between getting ready. So this is War Machine from Marvel. I'm doing an Iron Man themed force for Marvel Crisis Protocol that I'm playing. So this is like built out of about 20 or 30 different little plastic parts all glued together. But now it's all together and primed and ready for me to paint soon. So quite excited about this one. I think that'll be fun. But this is so much easier with like the paint. Well, it's not really paint, but the colors being printed uh onto the parts instead. Hi, chicken. What are you doing? So now that I aimed the camera down that side where she was before. Oh no, there she is. Hello. Oh. Yes. I don't know if she wants to hop up on my lap or not. We'll see. We'll see. That's so funny. Chicken cam is now working because that's where I'm putting the stuff after it comes off the desk. The stuff that I'm kind of throwing away is just going down there. And because it's new and it's not usually in the room, she's investigating it. Okay. So the first piece. Oh, you can't smell it from where you are, but I'm smelling the fresh wood and it's very nice. What does that sound? What are you doing, chicken? She's wagging her tail and it's like bumping up against one of the boxes back there so I could hear it. Okay, okay. First piece was the fishing rod. You can see on the instructions here. Oh, they've actually got numbers. So, okay, let's get a little organized about this. I think these sheets, this is sheet B, this is sheet A. So this is number 1 out of 4. This is 2 out of 4. Oh wait. 1 out of 4, 2 out of 4. This one is 3 out of 4. And this one's 4 out of 4. And they are listed as A, B, C, and D. So that's handy. Hello, chicken. Yes. And she is just looking for somewhere warm to hang out because everything's so cold. Okay, A10 and B12. So A10 will be on this sheet somewhere. A10 is this. Looks like a little arm. I assume that it is actually a little arm, that it's the cat's arm. Alright, I'm just going to take most of these off. And also just going to tweak my camera a little. All right, so you're not going to see the instructions as much, but I think it's more important that you see the workspace than the instructions. Okay. What was it? A10. I'm actually going to, so I move the other bits away. Just get some assistance with the knife so that I'm not necessarily breaking these pieces out. Oh, you know what's also really, really funny about like the cold temperature just suddenly kicking in? My partner and I have been watching this sort of documentary series. It's kind of like part documentary, part reality TV show on SBS called Alone. Has anyone else been watching that? It's it's really, really full on. So what they did was they dropped 10 survival experts in this really, really remote, ooh, bit of sandpaper, really, really remote Canadian wilderness. And they basically said, whoever decides to go home last gets $500,000. And everyone else just has to survive as long as they can. And it's like near freezing temperatures and like um, in the middle of like this kind of temperate Canadian rainforest sort of thing. And they obviously didn't get to bring any food. They just have to find ways to survive. And it's like um Dean's like 500,000, that's nothing. Yeah, I mean it's 500,000. I think it might be US dollars, but like I reckon you could still get something out of that. But I don't want to spoil too much of it, but it's so funny because it was like um just dealing with the cold, and they're like living in basically freezing temperatures and stuff like that. And I'm like, ooh, we got like a cold snap for winter. It's just the same. It's I'm going through the same hardships that these people are in the middle of nowhere with like no electricity, no nothing, and they're only allowed to bring, I think they had 10 separate items for survival. So like if you've got, you know, one bit of flint to make fire, then that's it. And then and other things. So it's very uh very arduous, I think I'd say. Oh right, glue this together. I don't know if you can see this. Let me get a close up. It has this bit printed on it there, which lines up with the fishing rod. So it's saying hold the fishing rod exactly in this position and glue these together. That's kind of cool. Um, so I'm gonna use the glue that they provided because I might as well. Hey, this is nice with this setup. Um, that like because I've got my phone up here as this camera, I can tap on it to get it to refocus on things. I could always do that, but I'd not really used it that well before. So now I'm feeling like I can do close-ups and stuff like that with less issues than previously. It's funny having all these tools because like I've got all of these tools like screwdrivers and like tweezers and stuff like that. But it's funny that they come in the kit because you know you want the kit to be accessible. It's like yeah, sandpaper. I've got lots of little bits of sandpaper there. But let's see what this glue is. I mean, just gonna have to open it and break the seal because it's got a little seal in there, which I'm gonna have to get out now. Of course, going for my tweezers instead of their tweezers. Yeah, come on. Oh, I guess I could just poke it from this end. Got a pokey tool. Oh, okay. I poked through it instead of actually getting that seal out. Uh, come on. I don't know if I'm even supposed to take this seal out, but it makes sense too because I don't really want the glue to have to go through that little paper seal, even if there's a hole poked in it. Okay. So we got my glue. just gonna grab a bit of paper. It's not much, but at least it means that I'm not working permanent patches of glue onto my table. Tea. Absolutely freezing though, not wrong. Yeah, it is very, very cold. But at least, we have electricity and warm clothes and things like that and shelter. So we're not we're not really doing it tough the way those people in Alone are doing it. Okay, what was I doing? Gluing these first two pieces together. Right, loose parts can be assembled with glue during installation. Thank you, instructions. I thought that was the point. I guess now I'll get an idea about what this glue is, what the kind of consistency is. Huh. It feels less liquid than a PVA glue, so a bit pastier. And I don't know if that means it's the same glue, but with less water in it, or not. But anyway, according to the instructions, hand up this way, rod this way, paste it so that it lines up with the laser etched drawing of the base of the fishing rod. All right, that can just sit there for a while. Now A4 and A6. Apparently there are two A6s, but we'll see. Yeah, there's two A6s here. Oh, these ones pop out quite easily. Or is this one? Oh, this also has like a printout of something on it, so I assume that's the body of the cat. Just gonna cut off this sliver of wood that came with it. Okay, so A4 this way, A6. Oh, I get it. Printed side out, so that these lines tell you exactly where to glue it. There's a D6 in the middle, and then another A6 and an A2. Right. Okay. So let's put these pieces in the order that they're going to go together. A2 is on this side. D6 goes in the middle. So let's go find D. This is D. It's going to be a lot of decking, but looks like for the boat there. Okay, D6 is this bit. It's totally the cat because you can see the printed bit. Oops, sorry, you can see the printed bits there for the tail. Change the angle again. You can see where I'm working more easily. The reason why this is like getting covered up by my thumb is I'm literally just pushing the blue tack on the camera so that it goes where I want it to go. Super professional mount. I nearly bought a spring arm mount, camera mount the other day because I saw one advertised for it's like $50, and I was like, I could potentially do that. But then I thought, I don't really need it. The blue tack will suffice for those times that I do crafty streams, and I do crafty streams only every now and then anyway, so it's not something that I need to genuinely invest cash into. Yes, the droid cam text is on the screen, yeah. I'm just using a demo version of droid cam at the moment. I should probably pay for it because it's not going to be that much money. But for the moment, I actually saw that like 10 minutes before the stream as I was setting it up, and I was like, I'm not sure if I have time to go through the registration process for this, but next time that should be done. It's funny because it'll show up if I put something near it, And if it's kind of around the mess of my desk, it sort of fades into the background. I should. I should just buy it because, like, I've been using it and it's fine. I don't need a trial to know that it works. Mm. It's camouflage and it's actually out of the work area, so it's not too bad. Okay, so this is going in the middle. So this one goes on here. These go on. Doesn't look like that way. It looks like that shape is going to have to line up. And those holes are going to have to line up there as well. Probably start gluing this together. I don't know how much glue they've provided me, but I feel like they've probably provided me more than I need. So I'm just going to use as much as I think I should use and hope for the best. Okay. And I know that I've used a little bit more than I needed because I'm squishing it and it's coming out the edges. There, you can just see a little bit of it poking through. Probably not that bad though, because if it's poking through with glue like this, it's like PVA glue, then you know it's the right amount. It's everywhere in the surface. Might clean it up though. I don't know how neat I have to be with this. I don't think it's that specific a kit. Okay, so this is going on here. Pretty much the entire surface here. I also don't even know how secure this needs to be. Like if any of these pieces are going to be like load bearing or something. I very much doubt it though. It's not that kind of kit. Having already picked up all of the MDF sheets, there's a maximum amount of weight this thing would have to be able to carry, and it's not much. Hi, Nicole. I don't think if you know. I don't know if you noticed earlier, Nicole, that like I was there was no audio. Yeah. I was talking to you. And then Dean had to come along and tell me that my mic wasn't working. I was like, "Oh, how long has that not been working?" Let's glue this piece on. Get that in position and then squish. Working with PVA glue is kind of fun because you put pieces together and then you squish them, and then the glue kind of spreads itself out between the surfaces as you squish. This is actually right up my alley, this kind of kit. I love like little woodworking and stuff. Um, a little bit more even, I think, sometimes than the plastic stuff. Because I was on mute for you because you were busy. No, that totally makes sense. um, yeah, because you can actually be a little bit looser with this stuff than you can be with the plastic. Plastic kits, you got to be quite precise. Whereas here, it's sort of like I'm just gluing these pieces together, and there's no specific way that they have to work for it all to fit together. Maybe. The glue, the description of the glue in this was eco glue. So I don't know if that's because PVA is like super non toxic and it's It's not a resin or anything like that. Just gonna make sure this hole lines up nicely. Because something here, maybe this or something, is gonna go through there later. I don't know if that is. But I know that the cat moves with the music box, but maybe it's this hook that's gonna move it. We'll see. Okay. There's that piece all glued together. Oh, you can't see the instructions anymore. I moved the camera a bit. So we've done the hand on the fishing rod and the kind of cat's body and tail. And now we are doing what looks like the cat's head. I don't know how careful I need to be with this glue, whether I need to keep it capped or not. As a kid, you love putting PVA glue in your hands and peeling it off. Yes, because it dries into that kind of little membrane. Okay, pieces that have been glued. Oh, that's already stuck together. That's quite nice. I always forget how long it takes for different glues to do their work, because depending on the glue, like super glue does literally nothing until until you've held it there for a good sort of 10-15 seconds, and then you have to figure out whether it actually did glue something. You let go and then it falls apart, or you let go and it's still together. Whereas like different glues will grab without needing any help. Okay, A13, B6. Oh, it's cute already. It's a little cat face. I'm wondering how much. Yeah, these actually don't need me to cut them quite so much. Pieces of cat face. A 16, 12, and 5. Just making some assumptions on where that's going to go. Considering it's printed like that. Makes a lot of sense. This one's kind of jammed in because it's so small. That's pretty cute. Alright, let's glue these things down. Silicon glue, the others don't taste as good. Alright, I'm going to start with the little mouth bit because that looks like the most fiddly bit to get into the right position. And then I'll stick the other pieces on. A cat has seen some things. I mean, it could also be that, like, I didn't put the eyes where they're supposed to be, so it's got a very shocked expression for the moment. The downside of this glue being a bit tacky and not liquidy, it's very hard to know when it's about to come out of the tube. Alright, there we go. Position? I quite like this idea that they've done where they've laser etched where the pieces are going to go on the other pieces. It's very hard to glue it wrong. Thanks, Dean. All cats who are not blind have seen some things. You are technically correct. Oh, I might clean up this piece before I stick it on accidentally. It's just these the bits where they're connected. It's nice to carve them off a little so that it's nice and smooth. Wish this. Try to keep it in the right spot. it's not perfect. But I guess it doesn't really need to be. Yeah, that's good. One on the other side. Try not to bump the other piece when I stick this one on, because it's still kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, floating on the glue, I guess. It's pretty good though. Okay, so there's a little cat face. And it's going on this as a backing, just like a single solid backing piece. Not exactly sure why they need this piece, but I'm sure there'll be some reason later for where it fits. Is that the right shape? Flip it upside down and see if it's... No, it's definitely not that shape. Turn it around. There's no perfect fit here. I think it's this one. Yeah, that would be it. If Chicken would recognize this as a cat, I very much doubt it. Like, I can show her pictures of cats, and she's like, don't care. She doesn't even look. Or maybe I should have glued this backing piece on first, because it's actually hard to squish it together right now, because the only bits I can squish on are bits that I'm waiting to set onto other pieces. But, that backing piece didn't need to be super precise or in exactly the right place. Like, it's doing the job. Yeah, a bit of a squish there. Yeah. That's okay, the other pieces are stuck well enough that I can do that. So this glue appears to be setting a little faster than normal PVA glue, but I reckon it is mostly just PVA glue. Alright, there's the backing piece, and there's a star on it, an A3. A3. Oh, it's a flower. Yeah, Chicken's actually seen quite a few mirrors in her time, because we've got I don't know how well you can see behind. No, you can't really right now. But there's wardrobes in our apartment which have floor length mirrors. So she's seen mirrors, but has just had never bothered to really interact with them. So I think she can tell the difference. It's like, if it doesn't smell and sound like a cat, then she just ignores it. Every now and then she reacts to stuff like on the TV, though. But that's mostly not animals and things. It's like if there's like a cursor moving around, she'll go after it. Just going to have a look at this picture here. No, it makes no difference to where the alignment is on the flower, but the flower can, I think, literally just go wherever you want. Since it's purely ornamental, doesn't particularly matter. Doesn't have an exact position. Here. There we go. Cat head with a flower. And I assume, don't know which direction, but I think this is going to go there. I don't know yet. It doesn't fit snug there, so I will wait and see what it's supposed to be before assuming that that's how that works. Okay, so it's saying now you should be up to here where you have the cat with its face bits and the flower, and now we're going to make what looks like a pelican. Pieces off to the side. A18 here, obviously, is most of the pelican. Looks like I really don't have to do more than just pop this piece out and go, okay, there's a pelican. But there are other pieces to it to give it a bit of 3D-ness. A32. 32 is here. So there's a pair of wingy bits. Let's just clean up those edges. They're double-sided, so I assume just goes there like that on both sides. Oh, I can see why you'd add that. You don't need just a 2D pelican. It's kind of cute to have its wings on like that. I was thinking it might be fun to be able to design kits like this. I wonder if you could, if there's a program where you can sort of model it in 3D and then kind of attach that model to a laser cutter and do it. I wonder what that would be like. Is it just wings on both sides? Looks like it, yes. Guess it doesn't matter. No, it does matter which way this is because there's only one way that it fits. Squish. Clean up the excess. And there we have a cute little pelican. Alright, next bit is attaching two arms to the body of the cat. So one of them is actually this fishing rod arm, and they've got etched here. If you can, let me angle it so you can see that the outline of the arm. So I'll do the fishing rod arm first, and the other arm second, so that the difficult bit goes on first. I wonder how strong this glue is, because this is now gluing something that has a real long lever on it, which could break itself off, depending on the strength of the glue. I think that's in the right place. Just trying to line it up with the etching, which I can only barely see because I've covered it up with glue on one side. Should be okay though. Also, as I was saying before, don't think this needs to be stupendously precise. Okay, A23, this other arm, and A29. Oh, that bow tie. Every cat needs a good bow tie, obviously. Chicken doesn't have one. Chicken. Did I ever tell you about the time that my partner and I tried to dress up our two cats for Christmas? Very long time ago. Basically, we ended up with a photo of like a bunch of like Christmas hats and antlers and like cat-sized antlers and stuff like that just lying on the ground. The two cats just sitting there staring at us like, what are you even doing? What do you think this is? So we tried. But we received a very, very clear response that was not what they wanted to do. Looking at where this bow tie is going, like here, I probably should have done that before the fishing rod arm. Ooh, nearly lost that. That'll be okay. Send pics. Let me I won't look it up now. It'll take me a while to find it because it's old. Like back when I had 2 cats. So that's actually been um when you think about it, because I think most everyone here has met me via UNSW. That was before I met any of you. Oh no, hang on. No, I still had another cat. I had B, but she died just before everything went online. So she didn't become the internet celebrity that Chicken did. Yeah. Very dapper. Very dapper cat. Alright, then the other arm goes on there. This glue is quite sticky in that it doesn't seem to need much time to hold things together. The other arm is on and very secure already. And I've obviously used way too much glue on this particular part. But that's okay. It won't hurt it. Oh, I accidentally pushed the bow tie off. Clean away some of the excess. If it is the kind of glue that I think it is, like a PVA based glue, it won't even matter if there's some excess because it'll dry clear. Having said that, this bow tie appears to not have enough glue. It's going on the side rather than on the surface, so I think that when it's going on the side of MDF, the MDF is just drinking all of the glue and absorbing it along the kind of end grain, I guess. Let's try that. I have drenched it in glue this time to stick it on. Yeah, hopefully that'll be okay. You can see all the excess glue there, but that's alright. Hopefully by the time that dries, we won't even be able to see it anymore. Okay, this is starting to come together. The next piece is something else. Kind of a tower of some kind. Can't remember where that fits in, but I'm sure I will find out. So, what are we? A21? A22. And D4 and 5. Hey Sam, how's it going? Hello, Xinghe as well. Okay, so D4, D5, so A21, D4, A22, D5. Okay, so I assume, how are these going together? That? Yes. Just trying to make sure these interlocking parts fit together while the painted parts are also on the outside edges. It's a bit of a tight fit. Let's see. Actually, a very tight fit. I may need to cut a bit of this off in order to have these things fit together properly. I mean, they're kind of like they're definitely jammed together at this angle, but I need them to be forming a nice corner, I think. Okay. Well, at least I know that's supposed to be there. Or maybe it's the other way. Oh, no. Looking at this here, the notch on the instructions on the A21 goes up, whereas the notch goes down on the D. Just going to at least cut off these offcut bits before trying to force these things together. Not that I think it's going to be enough. I think these are very, very tight fit at the moment. So even just pushing them together like that, they don't go. So let's get the sandpaper they gave me. Work away at these bits a little. Hopefully, doesn't need much. What point do I pull out the actual tools? At the moment, I've really only been using what came with the kit. I did grab my tweezers at one point, and I'm using a knife. I was tempted to just grab a Dremel. This will go real fast if I'm using power tools. That's okay. That'll go together. It's quite nice. Goes together so well, this doesn't need glue. That's a really strong fit. Just with friction. Which is nice. I won't even, like, now that they're together, I don't need to pull them back apart again and put glue in between. They'll be fine. Just going to carve off the bits where it joined the rest of the wood there. Box a drill like a shotgun. Oh yeah. Let's get some power tools in here for this tiny, tiny little kit that would not remotely survive if I started getting genuine power tools involved. If I was, it would only be this. Be this little. Whoop, nearly dropped it. It'll just be this. Nothing huge, just a little Dremel. But as you can see from only a tiny amount of sanding, that thing is fitting together. So it's good that I did not did not go to such lengths and start pulling out power tools, because this was a decent friction fit without it. A little bit more difficult trying to get both in at the same time. I think I do need to do just a little bit of sanding on this part here before trying to force it in there. There's always in every construction, whether you're, you know, building stuff for carpentry, furniture, what I used to do, which is like theater sets and stuff like that, or modeling like this, you always have different options where you go for this kind of takes a long time but gets you a finesse solution, or you can go for this is going to go really quickly but not look pretty afterwards solution. So you see sometimes like stuff with a whole bunch of bolts going through going through wood, and you're like, wow, someone went for the quick option. Or you see the things like Japanese carpentry, which just doesn't require nails or screws or anything, and just holds itself together via friction or via interlocking parts. That stuff always fascinates me. All right, just a little bit of pressure and friction, and this piece is holding together without any glue. It looks kind of cool. Oh, this is going to be like the back of the ship, isn't it? Dean's like same principle applies to software development. Yeah. Do you want the solution now, or do you want it good? It's like you can only choose one of those two things. You're not going to get both. So true. As someone who has marked thousands and thousands of assignments, I've seen fast. Okay, okay. There's a little tower thing, and on top of the tower is a cool little flag. So, what was it? B10? Oh, Cyberpunk. apparently, Cyberpunk is so patched now that it's kind of finished. So, what are they? 1.5 years after releasing it. It was actually more recent, not less recent than that. So it has been a while. Like a few months ago, someone was saying it's good now. You can play Cyberpunk now. What is Silksong? Is that another game that is like going to be good, and so they're going to take their time with it? Sequel to Hollow Knight. Ooh. Don't remind me about the Silksong wait. Oh, okay. There is some trauma attached to that. I saw the new Ni no Kuni game come out, and I'm like big fan back in the day of Studio Ghibli and stuff, and so I thought it'd be interesting. I played it for like one day and went, no, I don't think so. This looks like a gacha monetization fest, so I don't think I will be getting involved with that one. Thank you very much. Now its release date was 2019, and the entire Hollow Knight community has turned to masochism in the absence of Silksong updates. That can be tough. That can be tough because you also because you may not have known anything about the company pre Hollow Knight. You don't know how many years they spent working on that and maybe trying stuff and then throwing it away again and stuff. And not having that pressure of having to have any kind of deadline or anything like that. So they just kept working on it as a labor of love for a whole long time. Okay, so according to my instructions, this is this way, and then the flag goes that way. Okay. It's much harder to force something into a friction fit when it's a spindly little flagpole like that. I don't want to break it. It's fine, you're fine with waiting, but it's funny to see people low key lose it. Yeah, totally. All you need to do is just keep reminding them of how long it's been. It's not quite sitting flush. Oh yeah, no, that's good. That's good. All right. got our flag here. YouTube channel that's entirely dedicated to posting one video a day stating if there's been a new Silksong update. Okay. Where are we now? Next piece. So, here we are in the instructions. We've built the little, I don't know what you call it, tower or something with the flag on it. I don't know what that bit at the back of a ship is. And now we're building another part, which appears like it's going to be the wheel of the ship. And everything's obviously like exaggerated in size in this because it's not a real boat. It's a caricature of a boat. A15 and 27. So A15 is here. This is actually I think, super chill kit. Like, it's kind of thing where, you know how they're talking about at the beginning, it's like, read it through with your kids before you start. I feel like this is a kit. It's totally the kind of kit you could build with a kid, with a brother or sister, niece or nephew, or something like that. Totally, where you do all the fiddly work. There's cutting and gluing involved, but they can get involved with like the pushing these bits out or like playing around with fitting things together and stuff. For every like on the stream, Mark has to tape one more of his fingers. We have to watch him struggle to build these restrained fingers. That'd be so funny. every like and subscribe that pops up makes it harder and harder for me, and I have to keep building. Are you getting this from other channels, Dean? Like, do you watch other people where they actually they put themselves through that kind of like silliness whenever people subscribe? I think that could be a lot of fun to watch, not for you to do to me. Okay, so A15 and 27, they look identical. Hopefully they are. Are going to go on either side of the two things that are C8, and that doesn't have any color on it, so that doesn't matter. Aw, thank you, Nicole. It looks like another piece here that doesn't need glue. So really, this kit is built in such a way that the only time you need glue is when something goes on the surface of something else. And everything else in here with this like friction fit is actually like so close a fit that you don't really need to glue it, because like you can see the amount of effort that's going into putting these things together, and then they hold together quite nicely on their own. Sorry, my noticing that my camera feed has tilted, especially it's just the blue tack holding the camera on, so it's slowly tilting as the stream goes on. You're right though, Dean. It would be a pretty funny idea. Okay. A20 goes on top. Yeah, I've actually stopped going for the glue. Because so much of this stuff is like, you know what, with that friction fit to put it on, don't even feel the need to take it off again to put glue in between the gaps. I mean, I could if I really wanted to, but don't feel like that's going anywhere. And A14. Oh, actually, they're specifically saying in the instructions where you do need glue. So they're saying here A14 will need glue. So A14 here is just going straight on top of these bits. Oh wait, on top or inside? Inside. That makes more sense. Yeah. It doesn't have any friction fit pieces, so it's obviously going to need glue to hold it in there. Right. Glue these two pieces together, then glue the whole thing in. Ah, people are showing up. Hello, Dongshu. Hello, Izzy. How you going? I'm doing a little bit of woodworky crafting here. You haven't missed that much. Okay, let me... Actually, you can see on screen most of what I've built. I can even move my camera over a little. So, I built a little cat body and little cat face, little pelican, and a little tower that's going on the back of this music box boat. This is what the result is going to look like once I'm done. I actually don't know how long this is going to take, but it doesn't feel like an arduous journey or anything. But I don't know about you, but when I'm building stuff, it never feels arduous. I'm always sort of enjoying the build. I mean, I don't buy these things for the end result. I could build it and then throw it away, and I'd still be happy with it. I wonder if people are like that. I think people are like that with Lego, right? We're talking about that, where it's like, sure, it looks nice when it's on display, but the joy wasn't in getting a display piece. The joy was in putting it together. It's like have more fun in the construction. You know what I should do with things like this, with kits like this, is I build them and give them to people, because that way I don't have to keep them in a sense. It is adorable, isn't it? I think it's quite cute. All right, so this is going to go in here. It's not that tight a fit. So this will be interesting. I don't know where the best place to put the glue is, but maybe we'll put it on the inside. Imagine buying a Lego kit that arrives fully assembled. You'd so be like, I have been denied pleasure. This is not what I paid for. Okay, so I think putting the glue inside means that when I push that piece in, it'll push all the glue further in, and I'll get the minimum amount of spillage going through. We'll see how this goes. So I push this in now, and there's still heaps of glue spilling out over the top, but at least I've guaranteed that there's glue in between the parts here. Squish these together. A little bit of an alignment check there. Wipe that excess glue off the top. Looking at the arm there, the glue is drying clear. So you can see the excess glue. There's a little bit in the elbow that's not dry yet, but it's drying clear, so we don't really have a problem with the glue sticking out. Don't you? I'd pull it apart just to put it together. Yeah, yeah. I hear you. Alright, now we're putting the wheel on, and A1, which is a little sort of decorative plaque which is going on the front of the... What do they call that? It's not a wheelhouse, right? But it's the thing that the wheel is on a boat. I'm showing my complete lack of knowledge of what happens on boats. Like, I've been on some boats in my life, but no one would expect me at any point to genuinely understand or know all of the special names for things that are on boats. Okay, which way up do you think this is? I think it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it this way, so there's more darker bits at the bottom, like it's in shadow. Pick that one. Don't cut towards your fingers. Do I? I I'm probably a bad person to watch in terms of that because I've spent so many years around these things that at the points sometimes where I think I'm in full control of it, I will cut any direction. I'll be like, no, I know where this is going. Um, but that's such a bad kind of like you don't want that as like a an example teaching people how to do things, right? It's like if you can spend years with this thing, cut yourself multiple times, know exactly where it's going now as a result of cutting yourself multiple times, now you're okay with it. Um, this is not a like try this at home thing. Should probably have a better attitude while on camera. Okay, this is super cute. Look at this little wheel. So like I'm cutting this way at the moment. It looks worse than it is. It's actually really not going anywhere. Especially because I'm not putting any force on it right now. So it's not pushing in that direction. I was actually sliding it in this direction. So I was technically still cutting away from myself there. Izzy's going into the makerspace tomorrow to get your badge, and you're scared. I think it's okay. I reckon like getting the badge at the makerspace is more about learning the correct procedures and things. And I think the fact that you're nervous about it is probably a very positive thing. Um, having done a lot of stuff like that, I'm always more concerned about the people who aren't nervous than the people who are. Like, because the people who are nervous are going to err on the side of caution all the time. And the people who think they know everything but they don't are the ones that are going to, like, just kind of play loose with OHS rules and get a limb cut off or something. They're not going. Not highly unlikely to get a limb cut off. But, like, just make mistakes and stuff. Okay. A ship's wheel with a cool little plaque on the back. All right. Ooh, looks like the next step is going to be gluing our cat's head on. Slightly rotate the head part. All right, so they're saying don't put the head directly in, but allow it to turn a little so it's got some expression, which is cool. A28. A28. Little red collar for our cat. That's going to go together like that, and they're saying slightly rotate it so that it looks interesting. Okay, so rotate it to the left a little. Not sure where all the glue needs to go on this, but maybe I will glue the collar to the cat first, because this being the circular piece, it doesn't need any particular, whatchamacallit, uh, position to be correct. The glue nozzle's on a slight angle. So it's good if I'm aiming it the right way, and if I'm aiming it the wrong way, the glue's just coming out of the side of the nozzle and not touching the wood. The cat stares into your soul. And yes, Izzy, yes. I hope no lost limbs. That would be super, super awkward, I find. I feel like as much as there are a whole series of power tools in the makerspace, I don't think they're in the business of lost limbs. I think they probably do things very carefully there. All right, don't know exactly which bits are going to come in contact here, so I will just fair bit of glue around the bottom of this. Expect everything to just be fine if I just ram it on here and hope. Blech. Okay, that glue's going everywhere. But it'll probably be okay. Yeah. Alright. I don't know. Oh, hang on. Where is it? No! I was reaching for my standard tools there. One of my standard tools, which is a blob of blue tack that I have just for holding things um, in place. And I realized it's currently up here holding my phone onto my lamp so that I can have a view over my workspace. So I'm just going to hold this awkwardly until the glue sets enough. Although it's actually already holding together reasonably well. There's a bit of excess glue here. Try to dab that out without knocking the cat's head off. But if I just... Nope. If I balance it on top... No, okay. I'm just going to lie it down flat. I mean, it seems to be okay. It seems to be holding there. All right, that's the cat pretty much done. And we go to part C, which appears to be building the structure underneath the boat. So we've got this part here where they're like slightly rotate the head, build the cat, and now we go on to like this is going to be the base structure. So this is going to be the slightly boring structural bits, I think. Tell them use Arch and they'll give it to you straight away. This is following on for that conversation that happened on Discord, right? Yeah, they give you all the power tools with no safety procedures. I don't know if that's the positive side of using Arch that you were looking for. Okay. This one. C7. Oh, isn't that cute? Look how ornate that is. It makes a big difference, I think, with these having all of this artwork printed on. You don't have to do any of it yourself. Like, I'd be all about painting this after the fact, but it doesn't need it. I think this is another one of those pieces that's just going to hold itself together. Yep. Easy. D2. Wait, C6 as well. Let's grab C6 first. D2? They're all D1. This is D2. Trying to put like the feel that I've got here is to put exactly enough pressure onto this to break the little laser cut connection, but knowing how much pressure you can put on something before MDF is going to break. So it's like, go easy on it. Don't put too much. Okay, so there's that side. C6 goes on the front. I should actually clean these up a little, because a lot of them still have the slightly broken bits of MDF there. Not that it matters that much, because I think they're inside joins. So all they're going to end up being is like more friction in the join. Oh no, it's the arch thing has happened. True Archer user would build the power tools themselves. Izzy says, "Of course, I built my immune system from Arch. This is why I never get sick. Why don't I build my own power tools?" Oh no. Okay. Back to building my little wooden kitty boat. Obviously, as an Arch user, you would have finished this by now. In fact, it would be halfway to New Zealand now, because it would have been a fully functional sailing boat out of this MDF kit. Ooh, few bits and pieces. B1. Oh, a B1 is a little mouse in a red jacket. D8, D. So D8. D8 is this one. Alright, it's another floor. Hughes March. So it's the Mark version of Arch, which is even better. Like, what happens is if you ever need to do anything, instead of you having to do it yourself, I just turn up there and help you with it. You can tell Mark is an Arch user because he's building his own music box. I don't even know what Arch is. I'm just going along with the joke. I assume it's a Linux distro, but I don't even know. I I was thinking, should I Google this or should I just pretend I know the joke and I'll just keep rolling with it, which is exactly what an Arch user would do. Arch Mark Edition. Dean's asking, random question, any thoughts on the election result? I quite like the election result. It feels like it's about time. I think we've had a long time, even on a purely personal perspective, a government that shat on education for a long time. I didn't appreciate that. So happy that they're gone. A government that shat on people for a long time. Happy that they're gone for that reason as well. So looking forward to seeing what the new government can do. It depends. So it's actually kind of funny, because people talk about minority governments and them being a negative thing. I actually prefer it because I think that a government that has to make some compromises and doesn't get full sway to do what they do, and they get, like, for me, pushed further towards a progressive side is something that I actually would have preferred. But it turns out Labour has a full majority, which is okay. It's still better than having a Liberal government. But also seeing the amazing kind of the the changing tide as it was, like the number of people voting for Greens and all these people who were women in the Liberal Party who were forced out by the party's sexism, just go and like immediately just take the seats from the Liberal Party. I was just like, there you go, there you go. Your pretend meritocracy has been proven to not be true. And so it was fun to watch all that kind of stuff happening. So actually it was quite fun, an election, after like a lot of elections around the world have been based on this kind of control of the media. And it's nice to see that kind of thing fading now because people have had to live under that for a while, and we've had to watch what happened in the US when like the media took over, and then they had to spend a term with kind of like no professional politicians in a sense, but they went the wrong way. You know, they got someone who was just going to exploit their country for wealth, their own wealth, for a whole term, and they had to live with that, and they're still dealing with the consequences of that now. So I think it's quite good that Australia has kind of decided this whole bumbling idiot leader who um who was never in it for anyone else, obviously never cared about the population of Australia or anything like that, um got trounced in such a complete way, like a complete rejection of his entire ideology, and half of his cabinet went with him, didn't even get their seats back, you know. So I liked that. I thought that that was an appropriate response to that level of leadership. So yeah, that's my that's my take on the election. I think it went pretty well. I think it would have gone better if Labor had been forced to unite with the Greens to form majority. I think that would have been better for Australia in general. But having said that, the Greens have like a stranglehold over the Senate now. So you know, I think I think Labor still is going to have to work with the Greens to get proper policy through the upper house. Um, I do like the the disintegration of the shitty boys club that was like the kind of, I don't know what, like just dicks in the Liberal Party. Like so many of them just losing their seats, and so many of um the women that were forced out of the Liberal Party um just go independent and win their seats. I thought that was lovely. I thought it was a beautiful situation. Yeah. So it does not use Linux. Yeah, okay, so Arch is the original Linux distro. Oh, okay. So I don't think, do people still use it, or are you just saying that you use it because it's a funny joke? So Arch Linux uses the Pacman package manager and is extremely lightweight. Okay, okay. So it's like you you're using the one that has the least possible hand holding and the most you build it yourself with stuff going on. I can understand that. So what I'm hoping for is that education is funded properly from here on. Because even though I've left the education industry in a sense, um, well, I've left UNSW as the huge, big representation of the tertiary education industry. I would still love for it to be supported properly and seen as a necessary thing for society rather than a thing that only the rich can afford and take part in. So I'd be interested to see um, if improvements happen, and if you feel those improvements happening all the way down to the level of students at UNSW. Um, but I think even if you did, it'll take a while. It'd be a few years before the flow-on effects of policy changes actually reach students. So I'm going to call it now. We will drop trimesters in 2026, I think, which doesn't help most of you. Um, if it does help some of you, it'll be because you decided to do another degree or something like that. Um, but I reckon it'll be around then that there'll be enough funding that they won't be so strapped for cash that they think they need to squeeze their staff in order to save money to run the university. We'll see. We'll see. What's Dongshu saying? On an unrelated note, was showing the Mark TikTok chicken meme, and I asked my class if anyone had you as their lecturer, and nobody did. Yep, there you go. My influence has faded at UNSW, so I think the time has already happened to hand off the reins to other people. I heard Sasha has a pair of dogs. Hopefully, they've been turning up in online lectures and stuff like that. Um, Every other distro copies Arch Linux. Okay. And Nicole is saying, what annoyed you the most was the audacity of the government to cut funding to degrees that needed funding the most, especially because many politicians did those degrees for free. Yeah. So they were gutting the system that gave them a leg up. So it's kind of like once you're at a certain height, pulling up the ladder so that other people can't get to where you are. Very, very selfish attitude. And I'm glad that they were so clearly and openly punished for it. Archmesters. Oh, don't laugh at 5-mesters. The term hexamesters is already a term at UNSW. Like, but not term. A term is in terminology. Hexamesters already exist at UNSW for things like wait, Dean, you were teaching at uh the international school, right? UNSW Global. Weren't they using hexamesters already? So the idea that you could have a whole lot of learning in 1 year, so much learning that you can't psychologically survive it, is already something that UNSW is thinking about and experimenting with and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. It's like that. I don't know which of you posted it, but it made me laugh. The Attila Brungs, can you get rid of trimesters and bring back Mark G in UNSW love letters? You know, if there's one thing that is not going to get the message all the way through to Attila Brungs, is UNSW love letters. If there's anywhere that he's definitely not watching, that would be it. Okay. Ooh, this is going to be a really hard piece to just squish on. It has so many bits. Oh, wait. That's okay. Oh, yeah, I can do bit by bit, and hopefully friction fit is not super easy to do. Nicole saying med follows hexamesters a little bit. Don't you learning? Yeah. You agree with him. Bring back semesters, bring back Mark. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to go back now. Then again, I'm fun employed. Look at me. The hardest work that I have is to get this thing to fit together through this rather tight friction fit here. I figure I am going to have to do some work at some point. I've politely asked my partner's startup to take off in a massive way so that with her stock options, I'll never actually have to work again. But I'm not sure if they're going to comply to my rather polite request or not, but we'll see how we go with that. Become the ultimate YouTuber. Yeah, you know. I don't think that YouTube is a genuine source of revenue for someone like me. It may have been fun in some cases to learn from me, but like I don't think I'm kind of entertaining enough at that level to entertain, 100,000 people at a time, or the kind of numbers that you need to genuinely make a living from YouTube. Nor am I an asshole or incendiary enough to become a lot of the kind of internet sensations like your PewDiePie or your Joe Rogan, people like that who just like can start enough arguments to get views flowing to their channels. I'm just like, sheesh, you people are just, you think that's a good way to be? Like, I understand you're getting a lot of views, but holy crap, just chill, dude. Yeah. I don't know which way up this thing's supposed to be. I actually don't know how much you could see of me trying to get this friction fit. I think I was doing it here off camera. Also, because the camera keeps tilting. Because the lamp and the phone are just warm enough to just kind of warm up the blue tack enough that it keeps bending. Become the anyway to actually secretly start posting lecture-esque videos but keep them unlisted. That'd be funny. Actually, I could do a lot of very silly things. Usurp the faculty of engineering. Use Arch with lectures instead of Debian. So Nicole, I don't know if you were here. Was I talking about this last week? I was joking around with my friends about the idea of actually starting my own private tutoring service. It's not entirely a joke. I think it's actually a viable business model. Um, but I said I was going to register a business name called the Mark Chi School for kids that can't code good and want to learn to do other stuff good too. That's like, that would make me laugh so much. I would thoroughly enjoy it. Um, and I think it reflects my personality quite well to be running a school with a name from Zoolander. Um, I used to teach with a friend, and we would go out to lunch together in between teaching, and we'd always be going, "Oh fuck it, let's just open our own school. This is so bullshit." Um, and we never did because the idea of opening your own school and stuff means doing all your own admin and things, or paying out of your own pocket for the admin, which is why a lot of us find it easier to just teach and have someone else do all our admin for us. You know, like that's a valid way to do things. I just got so tired of it at UNSW. It was like, nah, I'm not really up for it. Anyway, here's a cool piece of boat, and you can see slots and things here where more stuff will go in a second. What are we saying? Dongshi. Mark Chi School of Kids. School for kids that want to learn to code. What was it? Kids who can't code good and want to learn to do other things good too. It's a mouthful. But the best thing about it is I can talk about it without someone sniping my URL because there's so many possible domain names that I can put for it. Start a uni, and the only differentiation is there's no exams. Well, the other differentiation would be that I don't have thousands and thousands of millions and millions of dollars of corporate funding. I won't have buildings, I won't have infrastructure, I won't have computers or a library or anything like that. So I think you'll find that if I started up something, it would be a very, very small operation that was barely surviving. Uh, No one domain camping now. Well, you looked up that whole domain. Tuaku will rob a bank for me for legal reasons. You obviously joke. I would have Arch, yeah, and that would be how I would win everything. What if I don't have Arch though? That's the problem. What if Arch is so complicated that I can't be bothered getting involved with it? Arch is the kind of thing where I would end up having to pay someone else to run. Like how I had subject admins when I was running my subjects because I'm just like, I can't do systems administration. I'm not DevOps. And then ending up needing someone else to do all that work for me. Then I have to make twice as much money because I have to make my money and someone else's money. What am I looking for? B13. These things. Use Windows and install Windows Service or Linux with Arch. That is like the ultimate insult to the Arch user. but but deeply ironic, and it would be hilarious, I think. Okay. This piece goes here, and these things go through from the top. Another very, very tight friction fit. I guess that's how they um how they make it so that you don't need glue for a lot of this, is make it so that everything has to squish together. What was I gonna say? I guess that's also why there's sandpaper. When the friction fit gets so tight, you can't do it. Arch is so simple that it's complicated. Don't you? Oh, you actually do that. So you are running Windows with Arch in it. I feel like the funny thing um, about teaching at CSE for me was like I used Windows the whole time. I actually had another computer that was going to be my lecturing dev computer, and I was going to install Linux on it and stuff. And then it sat in my office that was locked that I couldn't get back into for the entire pandemic, which was the majority of time I was employed by UNSW. That wasn't that bad. That wasn't that hard to get that pin through there. I hope this is in the right place. It looks like the longest section's on that side, so it's okay. Dongshu, install it and yeet Windows. Yeah, exactly, Dongshu. I'm exactly the same. I need my video games. That was the funny thing about like everyone running Linux. I was just like, so what games are you playing if you run Linux? And all the other lecturers didn't play games. It's like, no, why? But it's all right. I didn't need to play games with the lecturers. Play games with the students. Although there are a few. I think when I finally met up with Daniel Mansfield, who I still hang out with, I found someone who would actually play games and stuff. He's more into board games and D&D and stuff like that than computer games like I am, though. Okay, here's this piece. Hopefully it's in the right place. I spent so much time working on this friction fit here, I didn't actually check whether this was correct. Okay. The cat goes in here? Oh. Gets hooked underneath there. And there's a pin that goes through all of those holes there and holds the cat in place. Don't want to deal with wine. Yeah, no. I don't remember wine being any good. Make video games yourself! The ultimate Arch user response. Very, very good. Twaku's like, D&D. So I heard that Dan was actually in some D&D games with the D&D club. And someone stole something from him in that, and he thought that was really cool, and he said he would actually give it to them in real life. They stole something from his character, not, and so he thought it'd be really funny. So I'm not sure whether that actually ended up happening. If only there was some graphics course you could do. I'm pretty sure there is. I think it's still running even without me. Oh wow. You can see how much chicken loves me by how much cat hair there is on my jumper. Okay. Okay, here's the wooden dowel. It says 1-to-1 can be cut. Sorry. One ruler can be cut according to the ruler. I'm going to assume that means the dowel can be cut according to the ruler. And it's meant to fit inside those two paddles that I just put in here and through the hole that's in the bottom of the cat that anchors it in place. I might just test that first before cutting things. Oh, you were in the session. One of the characters, Jack, played him in a secretly rigged dice game and won some magic chalk. That's it. It was chalk, yeah, and he said he would give them actual chalk. Jack was the character. Jack is the person. Dunville was the character. I don't think I know them. Or maybe I do. I definitely knew someone called Jack at some point. Alright. The dowel is in place. It doesn't appear to need glue to stick where it is. And it looks like the cat can now do its fishing, so I just need to cut that off. Luckily, stuff that they don't have in the kit, but I've got lying around, is nippers like this, so I can cut this dowel without having to push a knife through here or anything like that near bits that I don't want to cut. I can just nip this off here, like so. Beautiful. All right. Cat has its, for want of a better word, fishing hinge. Now, there are a bunch of pieces that are going to attach down here. Jack Craig. I don't recognize the name, so maybe I haven't met. Or I have. And as usual, like I've met them in a certain way. Like they've learned from me, but I never met them, which happens far too often. Okay, D1 times 3. Oh, D1, D1, and D1. I don't like the fact that there's D1 with a capital D and D1 with a small d. But I guess it's fine. Like they could have just given this another number. D1 times 3 and D2 times 3. These are apparently going to get stacked on top of each other. So I don't need that. Yes, Izzy. It's going to catch a fish. There's even a bit of string in there, so I think it all goes together. I don't know if there's a fish on the end of a hook as well. All right. So D2 gets glued together in a batch of 3, like so, and that is all going to go there. This is starting to look like a counterweight to me. But, you know, trying to do a counterweight with MDF is a bit funny. I don't think I'm going to need to glue this. Yet again, significant amounts of friction is holding all of this stuff together. Alright, so there's that bit. I hope I put that in the right place. I'm going to check the next step of the rules and see what it says. Yeah, so you can kind of see there, stack of stuff, and then another stack of stuff. Might just flip over to this page. So, stack of these as well. I should have put these on one at a time. Just trying to squish all 3 of them on at once. Yeah. Okay, nearly. But that's going to need a bit more pressure to stick on. Getting a bit warm now. All these friction fits. Tiny amounts of exercise with my fingers has made me. Oh, I didn't realize. Hang on. Is that aiming the right way? Yeah, there. Chicken snuck back in at some point, and she's just napping over there. Feel like you might as well have a chicken cam. Alright, so some of them are not playing nicely. And they're actually chewing up this piece here. Alright, gonna have to clean this up. And clean up the insides of these pieces. I may end up having to glue this stuff together because seems a bit brute forcey to be just squishing them together and relying on friction. So at least these three pieces. The other three pieces seem to be sticking quite well on their own, but these three, I'm gonna glue them together. Chicken in the blue chair. We got a little chair cover for that chair. Because I think it was grey to begin with, but I don't think Chicken knows or cares what color it is. But it's comfy, and I think that's the important thing for her. And glue on the front as well. Stick it to those other ones that are there. A bit too much. So, oh yeah, that fits great now. Lovely. And there's a bit of glue holding that assembly together. Okay. So we have our counterweight. I assume it's not really pulling it back down. Oh well, deal with that later. We'll see if that's a problem. Okay. Ooh, music box. Next step. Step 11 here has us attaching things to the music box. This will be fun. Right, so we have the music box. They're aligning it in this direction. Ooh, I should remove the key. I put this on it, but I don't think it's ready for it. It's going to get a back plate on it first. So that angle. C5. Piece is actually going to get screwed on with these little screws in here. And this little screwdriver that comes with the kit. Very cute. It's going to be this way. That makes sense. 3 holes there for the screws, and that's open. These in place. Sparky, you've made a new thing where you have to get off your laptop by 10, otherwise you never fix your sleep schedule. Yeah. No worries. See you soon. Sleep well, hopefully. I think sleep schedule is always a tough thing. I had the flu for the last sort of week, right? Because I was sick for the last streams. I was sick on Wednesday. And my sleep kind of went back to a human pattern for a bit. But I'm sure I'll destroy that very soon. Okay, so there's the music box with its backing plate attached, which is all that was happening there, I think. That really didn't have to happen at that step, but that's okay. Then D4 and D7, they say. Look at D7. Look at a mouse. With a really, really long thing coming off the bottom. So this has got to be some kind of mechanical part here. So C4 attaching to this part here. Yes. You're enjoying this, aren't you, Izzy? The all the bits and pieces. Oh, I think I know what's gonna happen here. This is gonna go on there, and this mouse is gonna like go up and down inside the cabin of the ship. That's what I reckon is gonna happen. Okay, so D7 goes in there, C4, which is just like a structural piece there. This is actually going to need a lot of space below it. I assume it's going to get covered up by some boat pieces, which we'll be building later. Then we take this. It attaches underneath here. Oh, yeah, yep. And it's going to have a slidey piece. Alright, so let's get this music box fitted in. And then we will get the mouse attached to that piece afterwards. Alright, music box is in. This piece just needs to fit on here. Guess I just need to pull it down. Yep, there we go. Snapped on. Snapped a piece off it, but that's okay. No, that's okay. It was only one layer. Yeah, and so this thing's now going to slide up and down as the music box goes. That's super cute. Okay, so that's that piece there. Then we are going to attach another part, C9 and 10. C9 here and C10. It's kind of fun, actually. We've done some sort of visual parts, and now we're doing this like kind of mechanical workings underneath. There's C9, and it says put C10 on there, like so. It's also saying, please keep distance between parts. I think what that means is don't have these pieces so close to each other in this angle here. See how I can put my fingernail in between them there? They don't want them so close that they're going to rub on each other a lot. Or that if you glued them on, they would stay there permanently. So this kind of loose fit here is good. This one also goes on that, because this is the part that's going to be pushing the cat up and down. So this little paddle here is going to push that weight up and then let it fall back down afterwards. I assume, I mean, it looks like that's the case. Right. They're saying don't make these things stick too close to each other, which is fine. We won't. So I think they're afraid that if you jam this on too hard, there's too much friction in the system and it won't slide up and down happily. Okay, so that's the mechanism ready to go, I think, and then we'll start building the ship up around it. We will, yes. So we've got these really big pieces here. B2 and B4. So B2 is this one is going on the front. Here. B4 is going to go on the back. That kind of makes sense. So that means the outside edges are colored. That's the right one. Oh no, I think it's this way. Because the picture on the hang on. picture on the box has the red mesh thing on the front, but the red mesh thing on this one has the hole in it, which is the hole for the wind-up handle to be in. So that's actually on the back. And it's this on the front. Oh, the red mesh thing's another piece that's going to glue onto it. Okay. So it's this one on the front. I should just go off the numbers that are in the instructions instead of second guessing by looking at the pictures of the finished product. It'd be funny to have a kit like this and have like no instructions, just bits and pieces, and go like, "Good luck." Bet an arch user could do it. Just getting in on the meme now. Okay, so where are these things attaching? They are just jamming on the front here. Same thing as before, friction fit. It looks like it attaches to something below. Wait, am I missing something? Yeah, there should have been a panel at the bottom, which was actually in the instructions, but I got too caught up with the mechanism to see that C3 is the base of the entire thing. Alright, so C3 has a notch cut out that aims this way. That goes on there. So that's going to hold the music box in place, as well as this one vertical piece here, which was aligning the moving mouse. Alright, that's much more solid. Now we have a standing base here. So that's good. And this piece is now going to attach to the front of this. And it's going to attach well because it attaches both to the bottom and to the top. Got to be a little bit careful now because I don't want to put too much pressure around these other components that are the fragile moving bits. Okay, that's the front, and the back. We'll do the same thing. Yeah, that hole's in the right place because that's right above where the winder is, where the key should go in for the music box. Yay, we have pseudo boat. That's cool. Now it sits up quite nicely on its own. And then we're attaching all of these pieces. Look at the instructions. Yeah, where are we? D1 times 9, D1 times 9. So we're going to be putting a whole lot of these pieces in so that the boat's entirely covered up on the front and the back. Looks like my camera has shifted again. Try turning the whole light this time instead of the phone because the blue tack's only going to last for so long. I mean, it's kind of fine because, like, what, we've been on for like 2 hours. It's not that big a deal. Haha. Thank you, Nicole. Glad you're loving it. Okay, 2, 3. I mean, I guess I could just pop them all out rather than stopping at 9. But I was thinking I'll pop out 9 of them, and then I'll just do the front or the back first. What do we got there? 5. So I could show you what I'm doing. 6, 7. 8 and 9 look like they're coming together, which is fine. Clean these up a little. Can't wait to see this moving. I hope you don't have to wait too long. Because now that I'm at this point, and I know the mechanism's built and everything, I'm just like, I'm finishing this tonight. I actually don't think it's going to take that much longer. Because once these parts of the boat, the bottom bit of the boat are on, the top bit of the boat is already built. It's just not on yet. But I'm not sure because I can't see all of the instructions yet. Because I've got it kind of folded up in front of me so I can just see the bit that I'm on right now. Okay. Let us attach these. They're all going to be squishy fits by the looks of it. But yeah, not too hard to get in. Like when there's only one kind of point of contact, it's easier to just kind of push it into place. Yeah. That one totally doesn't want to go though. It's like nearly in, but it's just sort of stopped. Yeah, good enough. Like the bit on the bottom of the boat. I don't think anyone will notice if it's 0.5 millimeter out. I wonder if I have something that I can use as like a pushy tool. Like nearly just a piece of hard rubber or something. You could nearly use this cutting mat just so I can get more pressure on it. Random piece of MDF. That way, at least, I'm just sort of exerting even pressure, and it's not just my thumb. Yeah, that actually works much better. Because I think when I'm pushing with my thumb, I'm actually risking damaging it, because like the pressure point is all flexible. Whereas if the pressure goes on with a flat surface, it can't really damage the MDF. So, getting a bit off camera there. Yeah, it's super easy just using a bit of wood to ease the pressure. Or distribute the pressure more correctly. All right, that's nice. Got the back half of the boat has its panels. Now we just need to do the same for the front half. Finished board. Very exciting. Probably the most boring bit of the kit. All you're doing is like multiple joins, multiple cleanups just for um the bottom surface of the boat, which will be kind of mostly ignored. That's okay. It's all part of the building in a sense. That I think that this is the joy of this kind of thing. Is that the monotony of repetition in building is actually the meditative part of it. Not needing, you know, stimulation every step of the way, but just focusing on these little tasks. I think is part of the kind of, I don't know what you would call it, like the positive mentality of making, you know. And I think that's such a good idea, the calling stuff maker spaces, where you're not restricting yourself in any way to like particular forms of construction or techniques or anything. You're just like, no, this is a maker space. The only thing you're going to do here is make, but you make anything you want. Um, so just carving little bits of wood, that's making. Building like a whole working vehicle is also making. Very different skill sets, but like the act of building and the joy of creation is there in all of these different kind of pastimes or pursuits or professions. I mean, you could really extend that to the much less mechanical side of making, where you're not even worried about the process, and what you're doing is you're making art or you're writing something. You could even put code in there. You know, you don't need a makerspace to make code, but you're still being very creative. Code doesn't have quite as much as this, though, of the meditative, repetitive motions. Because anything that's repetitive like that, you can get your computer to do it for you. Toshi doesn't have a make file. I mean, technically it does. You got your compilation instructions right here, man. The compiler is just me physically working on these pieces one by one. Get my handy little piece of wood back. That makes it so easy. sometimes with these pieces, there's this satisfying little click as it goes on. MCC Mark Chi compiler. Imagine that your compiler is like compile this, and I just pop up and go, well, that code's going to do this, this, and then it's going to do this. And people were like, that's not what I wanted to do. It's like, no, that's what I see in your code. Bring a funny change to the idea of people trying to get their compiler to do their debugging for them if their compiler is a human. Okay. We have a lot of boat now. So what's the next bit? So, oops, knocking over my other projects. So that's all 9 pieces on either side there. And here we are going to put on the front section a bit of decorations and things. So A30 is definitely going to be this bit. You can recognize it. Then A17. I think this is going to be an anchor. Looks like it's going to go there. A17, A24, and 25. Oh, A24 and 25 are fish. Oh, I see where they're going. So there are fish swimming around at the base. That's kind of nice, actually. They've got those fish in there, and what they're doing is they're covering up the joins. So they can sort of hide away the fact that these pieces are here, and I think this one is going to cover up all of them as well. Yep, it is. Very nice. Little pieces just to make it look pretty. Oh, oops. I just carved a piece off the front because there was a bit of excess wood and I scraped off some of the color. Oh well. Don't think that'll be a huge issue. I mean, not like I don't have a whole series of paints here that I could if I wanted to. Okay, so that goes there. Kind of got. Oops. I forgot that I just left the fish there. I can put them to the side for the moment while I do this. So they've got some of those laser etched bits saying where parts should be. Right. Blue. I think that's going to be flush with the top there, so I don't have to worry about where the glue is. There. Squish everything down. Makes it look pretty. Oh, did Chicky do a big stretch? They're licking her paws there. Funny in winter, you see her try to get as small as possible so that she can stay warm. Do these fishies on as well. Oops. Who was talking about gluing their hands together earlier? Nearly happened there. Right. It's 2 fish. I think this bit is going to be for the anchor later. Okay, so that's that bit completed. Now, touching an anchor and what look like some life preservers. To have, oops, have positions there that are just etched in. Ready to go. I can really easily get to the point where where I try to clean up everything really excessively. It's very easy to get caught up in that. Which way looks nicer? Doesn't particularly matter. These two. I want to line them up nicely. Maybe I do. Sweet. Okay, a few little cosmetic bits going on. Ooh, we are putting the top of the ship. Oh, wait. I just snapped the anchor off. At least I didn't break it, but I definitely just kind of broke the glue. Let's glue that back on. Like getting to the point where I'm putting these cosmetic pieces on, it's very easy to accidentally hold it via them. Oh, anchor mounting is a little low. I don't know if you can see the etching circle on it. You can actually see it over the top of it. Oh well, I'm gonna let it go. Otherwise, I would start picking at it and ripping bits off and re-gluing them and stuff. Okay, so the next bit is to put this piece on. I'm gonna work on the assumption this is not gonna need glue, because it would be another one of those squish fits. Oh no, the anchor just fell off again. I wasn't even doing anything that time. So, you know what I'm gonna do? Just gonna leave the anchor off for a little while until I've got some of these other pieces attached. Right. Oh, that mouse actually sticks up the top. That's really cute. Right. This anchor, I'm just gonna clean the glue off it for now. And I'm gonna set that aside for later, because it's just sort of sticks out a bit too much, so I'm gonna glue it on last. Okay, so we have the house on. Flip it around, they say, and put this tower up. Another friction fit, but this time on a really long piece. That's okay. That worked fine. Yep. It's looking pretty good so far. Then the wheel is going on this way behind the cat. I just broke off one of the little life preservers while I was not looking. I don't know if I have to re-glue that back on. It's sort of just stuck back on there. Okay, so we have all the bits and pieces of the boat appear to be on now, apart from the little cosmetic bits that I broke along the way. We'll fit them back on in a sec. Okay, then we are looking from the back here. Putting a few of these pieces on, so there's a big, colourful looking horn. Look at that. That looks so cool. That's going on the back here. I think I just broke off one of the life preservers. I reckon those two and the anchor really shouldn't go on yet. They should go on after all of these big pieces are on. It's a little railing to go on the front. Let me just fix my camera. Alright. It had fallen a long way and I'd adjusted it multiple times. I guess every like half hour or so it just sort of sags as the blue tack is not rigid enough to hold it in place. I feel like that's like a prime candidate for something you'd like 3D print a mount onto the top of my light here. You can see it just droop even after I put it in place. Wonder if no, I won't bother. But I have ideas for what I could just throw together there. Alright. This railing's gonna go on here. Piece of wood to push that in. Okay. Got a little railing and the horn. And then we have A8 and 9. A9 here. That's the brand name of the kit there. Is going on the bottom apparently. There and there. Yeah, I could potentially tie string around the camera. I guess these things are just covering up the gaps at the bottom. I don't even know why that gap was there. Let me just... I'm just going to readjust this camera. Big lots of blue tape. Ta-da. It's already sagging. It'll be fine. Yeah, just point the camera in my face for the rest of the stream. Okay, these pieces I think are just gluing in here. I think all they're doing is covering up the mechanisms and things. Let's see which way I can lie this down without breaking these little life preservers off again. Hopefully they're going to stay on now. And I'll just glue these two pieces on the bottom. I've bumped the spot where the anchor is now multiple times, so I'm glad I'm just kind of leaving that until later. Oh! Yeah, I'm just going to balance that there for a second while I'm gluing this piece on. Okay. That was really funny, actually. Yeah, I was there to catch it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to figure out a better solution for that. But glad it's right in front of my face, so I saw it falling as it was coming down. Okay. So we're up to this point. We've glued these two things to the bottom. Oh, they say we can put the key in. You just moved. Oh, it's the cat. Cat's allowed to move. Okay. Bit early for that, but the mouse is actually moving up and down. Cat, not so much. Oh, the cat is moving. Hang on. I shouldn't. That was just putting the key on. I need to actually finish building a few more pieces before this is actually ready for that. I don't know if you heard that, because I think the noise suppression suppresses the sound of the music box. But a few of these little ladders go on first. E26. Exactly where this piece goes, but what angle is it saying? This angle. Put it this way. Oh, down here. Okay, that's easy. Then we've got two ladders. A19 goes on this surface. A down here. These are purely aesthetic, so I figure I can probably just put them wherever I want. This one going up here makes sense, though. Soon will be time to repair that anchor. There. This ladder here or here? There, I think. But that one's supposed to go in the middle. Oh well, it's fine. I feel like particularly matter where I put these because they're just for show. It's wherever I think it's cool. A ladder to get to the top and a ladder up here. After the ladders, we have the pelican is going to sit on the top here. Just push it into place. Yep. Very last piece. Oh no, not quite the last piece. Is these portholes here are going to have this nice little red design around them. Oh, there's actually two separate pieces. I thought they were going to come together. But it looks like that flat edge is the bottom. Cute. Ah, you didn't realize it was a music box. Yeah, so it's a music box that also makes things move. So it's like it's a very cute little thing. Having said that, I think plenty of music boxes have moving bits. Even your like, you know, super simple jewelry box, like that old super old traditional jewelry box with a ballerina that spins. This is just a significantly higher effort version of that. I should probably clean out the glue. That was way too much glue on that one piece. Put a little bit less glue on this piece. See what happens when I squish it down, though. Still plenty of glue. It'll be okay, though. All the other bits where I had glue sticking out have dried clear anyway, so perfect glue for this kind of kit. All right. Last thing is the fishing line, but what I might do is reattach the wayward anchor. Pretty close, pretty close. All right. Fishing line. So, fishing line. Oop, don't knock out the whole thing. And a fish. So, look here where my camera's gone. All right, so we've got fish and the fishing rod, and we've got a little bit of string here. So, just going to tie this off. It's quite funny. They've got a little graphic there of the knot. I wonder if that's actually a specific knot in the graphic, or it's just like a vague suggestion. Knot with small. This is a double knot. I don't think it needs to be a very good knot. it's gonna it's gonna be fine. And then the fish, I'm gonna make sure that this doesn't end up hanging so far that it's just dragging on the ground. Yes. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm blue tacking the other side of the phone for some leverage. Leverage might hold it in place. We'll see. Anyway, so I want this to be fairly short so that it doesn't reach the ground. So I don't want this thing to be bouncing off the ground when the cat is doing its fishing. So it's actually about there. Yeah, that's about right, I think. The extra ends off that. Not the best clippers for it. A pair of scissors would probably be superior to this, but you know. Okay, that. Oh, it's holding it by the anchor again, nearly broke that off. That, I think, is complete. So, let me extricate my camera from this setup, because this is going to look much better from ground level. There we go. There's a little boat with a little cat. All right, let me just turn off my noise suppression. Okay, I've turned off the noise suppression on the microphone so that you can hear it. And I will now wind up the music box. The cat's fishing. And if you see that little mouse there, it's climbing in and out of the cabin while the cat does its fishing. That's adorable. I'll just hold this. Well, that's super cute. I'm kind of glad I built that. I kind of want to give it to my niece, but my niece is like less than a year old, so she will grab it and break bits off it and then eat them. So it's probably not for her. But I can see myself giving something like this to her when she gets older. It is super adorable. I'm gonna put it on my display shelf in my house, which is like where I've put everything that I've built on stream, plus a few other little bits and pieces. But yeah, that's heaps of fun. Alright, nearly exactly 3 hours, so doesn't seem like, you know, these things are not a super hard build. they're pretty reasonable, apart from me breaking the anchor off 3 times. It's all okay. So thank you for coming along. This was fun to put together a completely new kit. I had no expectations for what this was going to be like or anything like that. I didn't know if there was painting involved or anything, but it actually seemed pretty easy overall and quite a satisfying kit. So yeah, that's super cute. I'm gonna put that on display. My partner's already gone to bed because I think either she has the flu that I had, or while I was sick she went out and picked up a different flu. But I'll show it tomorrow, and she'll probably be quite excited by it as well. Alright, I'm gonna head off there. Thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you all soon.